camera. What am I seeing here? Oh, jeez. Sorry, everybody. This is getting a little confusing with my streaming software, so just give me a little patience here. Maybe this is what I want. No, that's not. What a... Okay, I don't even know what it's doing now. Sorry, this is just very confusing. I'm going to have to... I literally do not know what it is doing right now. Okay, don't worry, I will fix it. I will fix it. I hope you can hear me at least. But I recognize that there are some problems. I have to create a new scene and add my face to it. Sorry for all the confusion here. Something happened when I was reconfiguring things last night and no source to... Okay, it looks like I understand there's a little bit of a problem. Hang on. Okay. Okay. I think you're seeing me now. Whew. The streaming software I used got a little confused because the camera was off. It was off because there was a, what do you call it, a power outage in my area a few days ago, and I forgot it. I turned off the camera. So that was the confusing part. But everything is okay now. In fact, I have almost a good setup here. You know, I'm going to fix the camera just a little bit because it's kind of pointing a little bit down. So I'll be right back. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now I seem like I'm a little more in the right place. Okay, and let me get my chat log up here. Woo! Hello, Celia. Hello. Thank you for the comment on the smile. I do appreciate it. I have been great. Good to see you on the stream. And let me just slowly figure out how I can get started with the stream. I changed my physical layout here as well, so it gets a little confusing for me to remember how things work. I changed where my teleprompter is, where my monitors are, so it's a little more easy for me to interact with the audience. I was having a tough time the last stream because I was having to look left and right a lot. Now everything's kind of very vertical for me. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, I think one of these, it worked. It worked. Okay, and so today's topic is, of course, pen tablets versus pen displays. This is a topic I love talking about, and it was inspired because of some comments on the Discord. Now, speaking of the Discord, let me just make sure I've told my Discord buddies that I am online. So let me just quickly send them a message and let them know I am online, and then we can get really started. So just hang on one more minute. Chrome. And I'm going to copy the link, and just to make sure, I'm going to put it in the what do you call it? In the chat window, if I can find it again. Hello, Eduardo. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, the Discord link is there in the chat now. I just want to remind everyone, feel free to join. We spend the entire day talking about tablets and, digital art, and it's very focused on those things. We're very on topic, let's say. We don't bring in politics or, world topics. Most of the time, it's just very strictly focused on these two things. And also one more thing, nothing not safe for work. We have a lot of young people, people who are like 16, et cetera, who join because they're looking for advice on which tablet to get. So just keep in mind that we want to create a safe environment for young people there as well, okay? But besides that, please feel free to join and just check it out. We do talk quite a bit. Oh, I see a comment from Eduardo. Let's just put it up there real quick. Oh, there we go. I have to resize my screens a little bit. Your reviews and analyses helped me a lot in choosing my tablets. Deco Pro Gen 2. Okay, that's one of my favorites right now. It's really my favorite non-Wacom tablet. So I'm glad you're liking it so far. The XL is a huge beast. Okay, so back to the main topic. For today, it's pen tablets versus pen displays. And the reason... Oh, I forgot to tell the Discord people I'm online. Hang on. Gotta get them there too, don't I? Chrome. And let me just log in correctly. I love streaming. You guys know that. And what I'm realizing is that sometimes I'm spending too much time thinking about making a video. Like I'm spending weeks thinking about it, when it's maybe better for me to just go live and talk to everyone and then formulate, from that discussion, something for the record, because you have to get feedback on what you do. And I certainly love to get feedback from everyone. One second, let me just copy the link. I'll put it in the Discord. Hey everyone, I am live now. There we go. Okay, now the Discord people know what's going on, and I am going to close this window, and then we can start talking about something fun. Okay. So for the third time, the reason I'm making this video is there was a good conversation actually on the Discord where people were talking about pen tablets versus pen displays. And I wanted to get in that topic more. Now, in reality, I made a video in December of 2024, so very recently, called Practical Tips for Buying a Drawing Tablet. And I would recommend that you look through it because I want your feedback. You should definitely look through it if you are about to buy a tablet, even if maybe you've had a tablet for a while, because I think some of these tips they may be new to you, right? And one of the topics in the first topic actually in that presentation was, how do you decide between a pen tablet and a pen display? And so I only had a few minutes, so I just rushed through. I think I probably spent 3 or 4 minutes on this topic, but I didn't think it was enough, and I certainly didn't have a lot of feedback from a population of people. So that's what I wanted to do today, is get that feedback. Okay, and we'll dive deep. And I see we have a few comments here. Flame is here. Do you think screenless tablets will still be a thing in 10 to 15 years? I do. I really do. And I think that's a great question. That's actually a fantastic question, because it's something that has occurred to me. What the future, let's talk about it in the stream. I do think they will be here long term. Having said that, I could imagine a situation where there is no distinction between a screen tablet and a screenless tablet. In other words, there's a set of conditions under which all tablets are screen tablets. So let's talk about that later in the stream. I actually want to explore that topic, because if they reach a certain level of cost and performance and durability, then it makes sense. Now, and so let's talk about that later, right? So it's a possibility we could only have screen tablets, but I think screenless tablets are going to be here easily a decade, 2 decades on, honestly. A fantastic question. That was from Flame. Gemma. I got Intuos Pro L based on recommendation, and I want to draw more than ever. Great to hear. Intuos Pro L large is my favorite tablet right now. It is in its series, the PT X60 series, the best pen tablets ever made. The only one that's going to compete with it now is the new Wacom Intuos Pro 2025 series. So I can't wait for that. By the way, a little bit of a tragedy. A few days ago, we saw on Wacom's electronic store, you could order the tablet. And I ordered all 3 of the new Intuos Pro 2025 series. So that was like $1,000-something. Because I think it's important for me to have all the tablets so I can test them all and formulate my opinion. And I got an email from Wacom on Tuesday saying it was incorrectly listed for sale, so they canceled the order. They did say to expect it to be on sale. I don't know if they gave a date, but I think it was maybe it was like the 25th of March. Something like that, 25th of March. So, if I order on 25th of March, then I'm guessing a week or 2 to get the tablets. So hopefully, maybe at the end of March, maybe at the beginning of April, I'll be able to do a live stream unboxing and review. Okay. And I just want to highlight one more thing that Gemma said. Now I want to draw more than ever. And that's why it's great to have a tablet, because it can get you to draw more. And that's what we really want. We want people to be creative. So I love hearing that. And then Eduardo, I had an XP Pen Artist 12. Small screen size was troubling me. Decided to go screenless, and I actually liked it more. Lots of people do that. That's actually one of the topics today we'll bring up. Anyway, back to the main part of the presentation. We covered this topic in several slides. I didn't have much time back in December, so I wanted to focus on this topic here. So we're going to revisit those topics in depth, and I want your feedback and your comments. And we're going to expand on those topics, right? And I'm going to add some more topics, actually. I think some of you will bring in more topics also. And the key thing I want to get into, another thing I want to get into with you is, of course, to share your experiences in general, but I'm also curious about people who switched. What do they think? And especially people who switched back, right? So Eduardo just made a comment that he started with a pen display and switched to a pen tablet. And that happens. That absolutely does happen. So we want to get some commentary on that from people in the audience. Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of rudimentary stuff because I have to make sure I get the, some people are going to come to the stream and they're not already familiar with all the terminology. Okay. So I just want to make sure for those people, we are setting them up to understand what we are saying. And so again, the topic today is pen tablets versus pen displays. Pen tablets don't have a screen. Pen tablets do have a screen. And the one thing that they have in common is you have to use them with a computer. They're not like an iPad where you can just use them as a standalone device. These are not standalone tablets. And I'll preface by saying there's a natural inclination from a lot of people to want pen displays because they look fancier. They look like an iPad at least. And they cost more, certainly. And I just want to share one thing. Pen displays are not inherently better than pen tablets, okay? If you could leave this stream with one message, if you're new to tablets or even if you've been around a while, is that one's not better for you than the other one. One's not generally better for people than the other one. What's right for you depends on a lot of things. I'm hoping we can explore what those things are in this stream. So I'll just give a few examples of pen displays and pen tablets here, and you can see them, like Wacom 2S Pro Large, which was mentioned by someone already. That's a perfect example of a pen tablet. Huion Canvas Pro 19, another great example of a pen display, right? And in every way, they share the same technology. It's just that one has a screen on top of it, or one has a screen. And the easiest way to honestly understand these devices is think of, there's the digitizer, which is the thing that actually knows where the pen is. That's a flat board. We'll pretend this is the digitizer for a second. And then on top of that, they stick it, and then they surround it with a plastic case and then use a pen on. That's a pen tablet. Pen display is the same exact thing, except after the digitizer, they slap on a display panel, and then they put it in a plastic case. That's it. That's the only difference. And interestingly, you can see this difference because computers, actually, in a lot of ways, in almost every way, actually, they don't know if you plug in a pen display. They don't know you have a pen display. They more or less interpret it as, suddenly you've plugged in a pen tablet, and coincidentally, at the same moment, you plugged in a monitor, and the computer actually doesn't realize these are the same device. Okay, and this is actually you should know that because it helps diagnosing and debugging some issues. Okay, I see Philip has a comment. Let's take a look at it. I'm not a fan of screenless tablets that much because of how my body works. Not a fan of screenless tablets. The forward and back motion of something flat on a table causes me more pain than a 70 to 80 degree pen. That's interesting. You're probably the first one I've seen has actually said that. It's very interesting. Almost everyone says they get more with a pen display. I think, Philip, you're the first one that's mentioned it with the pen tablet. It's fascinating. But I'm glad you shared it because, again, everyone's body works differently, right? But a display tablet works wonders for your posture. Interesting. Yeah, there's no one right answer. There's no one right answer. We always want people to share what works for them. In that presentation in 2024, in December, I had this slide which compared pen tablets and pen displays. And this is the slide we're actually going to, I was going to say blow up, but like zoom in on, so to speak, and address each point and spend time talking about each point and get your feedback on each point, okay? So let's talk about, actually, we have a comment from Flame. Let's take a quick look at it. I'm finding that I'm setting the tablet on my lap to be way more comfortable. Interesting. I've tried that a couple of times, Flame, but I could just never adjust to it. It felt flimsy. I was always afraid the tablet was going to fall. Even though, it's a screenless tablet, I was having real problems with it. Okay. So the cost. Huge difference, okay? Pen tablets are not expensive, right? The most expensive pen tablet on the market, which is, I admit, too expensive, is Wacom's and 2S Pro Large. And that's $500, which you can often find discounted to $400. I think that costs too much. And that is the most expensive, best ever tablet. The next most expensive pen tablet, it's a tie, roughly speaking, between the Huion Inspiragiano, which is a large tablet, right, and the XP Pen Deco Pro Gen 2 XLW, which is also a large tablet. They're both slightly bigger than the Wacom, by the way. And they both cost, I believe, about $200. The cheapest pen tablets really get around $40. Sometimes discounted even $30, right? So you're dealing essentially between, let's say, $35 and $500. And really, the real range is really $35 to $200, right? Because it's kind of rare to get a large tablet. Excuse me. So that's the cost of a pen tablet. And pen displays are expensive. Like realistically, the cheapest pen display you'll get is about $200. Let's just say $250. Let's say $225. The cheapest pen display you'll get, all the way to $3,500. That's the Wacom Cintiq Pro 27. Also, I think it's overpriced, but okay. A more reasonable price would be $1,500, right? Or $1,600. I believe that's how much the Huion Canvas Pro 27 costs. So the price difference is great. Yeah, sometimes you'll see pen tablets discounted to like $150, but those tend to be, from the Wacom side, they tend to be like the Wacom One. At $150, it's not a bad purchase. It's kind of an outdated tablet. I wouldn't normally recommend it. But that's about the lowest, and those will be small. They'll be like 12 inches, 13 inches, that kind of thing. Let's see. We have a few more comments. From C3, pen display fatal flaw, neck damage. Yes, we're going to get to that, C3. Okay. So reliability, I think for me, it's a clear winner. Okay. And, if you know statistics, I guess, Bayesian statistics, the failure rate of an object is sort of, you can think of it as proportional to the number of things inside components, right? And every single component has a failure rate. The more components you have, and if they all have, you're adding components of the same rate of failure, then you're just increasing the chances the entire device will fail. That's just the way it is. The math works out that way. In order to compensate for that, you have to have really reliable components, like crazily reliable, because they all sort of multiply. Now, pen tablets are inherently simple devices because the simplest pen tablet is a digitizer surrounded by a piece of plastic. Okay, they just don't, and they don't even have any moving parts. And we'll get to it later about how durable they are, but they just have few parts. Okay. The most a pen tablet will have are buttons, which sometimes do break, but it's still pretty rare. Pen displays. Oh, so one more thing. They just connect easier. We'll explore that a little bit later, but pen tablets also just connect easy. They don't really have a complicated way of talking to the computer, and the computer recognizes them as one device. Pen displays are just filled with a lot of stuff. Now, obviously, they have a display panel in there, which is the first thing. But display panels are complex devices in and of themselves, right? They sometimes have trouble staying at the right resolution. The panels fail. The panels can wear down in funny ways. They're highly sensitive to damage. And, then the computer has to talk to it through a GPU. That itself can be prone to all sorts of weird issues. So you get a situation where pen displays have just more components, and those components are delicate. And so I often see just pen displays have more problems, right? I'm not saying don't get a pen display, but you have to be conscious that they're just more complex devices and they're more prone to failure as a result. Okay. Ruggedness, this is related to now the sort of the construction of these devices. A pen tablet, which I have one here. Oh, one second. Actually, I don't have one in front of me, right? This is a $250 Wacom Intuos Pro, right? Here, I'll just drop it, right? That you probably heard that. This is not going to break, okay? Now, was that smart of me to drop it that way? No. But there's literally no scratch on it. The worst I could have done is if the buttons here fell onto something, right? Theoretically, I could have done damage to that. But that's it. There's no moving parts in here. Nothing is going to fail here. Now I've got a Move Ink, which honestly, it would probably survive. It might get scratched up the screen. But if you get one of the heavier ones, let's say I have a Cintiq or something, they drop and there's going to be a real problem, and there's no repairability. Okay, the glass is going to get scratched and damaged, and you can't fix that stuff. So if you're traveling, you're going to have to take real care of a pen display. Pen tablet, the only thing I do is I try to separate the front of it from anything that might scratch it. Like I'll put a piece of cloth, I'll put it inside a little bag, because I just don't want something like my keys or anything else to scratch it. But you have to really take care with the pen display, because it's not just scratches. Something that pokes at it might actually just shatter the glass, right? And you don't want to drop them because those parts, again, are sensitive and they're heavy, right? So you have to be very careful with the pen display. And let's see. We got to start doing more drop tests for tablets. Yes. Now that you bring up this topic, Flame, there is a test I saw someone do, and I've been scared to do it. And I'll tell you what it is. I think it's David Rivoy. He's in the Krita community. He has a good channel, and he reviews tablets. But one thing he does is he actually takes, I don't have it here, but he takes something sharp. He takes his keys, car keys, and he takes like a box cutter, like a blade, and tries to scratch the tablet glass. Now, he does it off of the screen side, so it won't affect his usage. And don't get me wrong, people have scratched their tablets, but you can see that he'll try to scratch it, but he can't with a typical amount of force, right? So I think that's a very brave experiment. Maybe one day I'll start doing that, right? In addition to drop testing. Okay, let's see. We have Mihao here. Dzień dobry, Mihao. A bonus, you can fix a pen tablet with cardboard, paper, and tape. You can fix a pen tablet with cardboard, paper, and tape. I'm not sure how to interpret that, but I'm sure if you could elaborate, I would love to hear more, Mihao. Let's see. Oops, I got my chat. Okay. Paul says, when traveling, I brought my Intuos Pro more than my Cintiq 16. Same here. The only time I've ever traveled, honestly, with the pen tablet late in the last few years is when this Move Ink, which is, like 6 millimeters thick and super light. And even then, I'm very protective of it, right? Because replacing them is expensive. Okay, let me get a quick drink. Let's see. Nick Tyler says, no problem. They drop, you hear stop, dropping 2K. Yeah. You know what? I did drop a pen display one time. I did. It was, I think it was with my Huyons, actually. Now, it's totally survived, but I was really lucky because I didn't drop it like flat where the screen was going to be. I dropped it, and it just kind of slid off, I think off my bed or something, and it landed on the side where there weren't any buttons or anything. So I was very scared to turn it on in case, I had dislodged something, but it all turned out actually okay, as it turns out. Okay. And so, oops, my volume is a little bit weirdly loud right now. Let me tone it back a little bit. Okay, hopefully it's not good. I was getting red in my monitoring thing there. Okay, so things should be okay now, at least more okay. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I was dropping it. I was very scared, and I did have a little heart attack there. Let's see. Eduardo has a comment. The other thing bothering me in the Artist 12 was parallax, calibration, and delay. Yeah, we're going to get to the delay topic. I'm glad you brought up parallax. Let me just take a mental note to mention that there's some drawing issues you experience with pen displays that you just don't experience with pen tablets because there's no screen. Is that the guy who destroys the tablet? David Revoy is, I think, his name. Yeah. We can find this video later, actually, and I'll show it to you. Actually, let's just do it right now. Let's just do it now. What are we waiting for? Hang on one second. Because it's scary to see him do it. It is honestly scary. Let's see. So you can, all my favorites are here. Let's try. We'll start with, get to YouTube.
I got two things here. Today I'm going to be looking at this. This is the new iPad Mini. I also have a Smart Portfolio, and of course, the Apple
Pencil. I believe
Pencil
that's him.
too.
Should be. This is him. This is his art. You got to see this. It's actually unbelievable. I believe this. Oops, sorry. Wrong
Hello,
one. This
bonjour.
is the guy.
So in Krita 1,
He's a good artist, by the way. I got to tell you.
hello,
let's see if you can find
in
it.
this video you'll learn everything I discovered about the Huion Canvas Pro 9.
Someone suggested I react
And I
to
tested
other
a
drawing
lot of
tablet
things on the
videos.
device.
So I guess,
I measured
I wasn't
speed,
planning on doing it, but
I
here I
tried
have
to
actually done it.
scratch
Okay, there we go.
it.
Look at that.
I drew with
Now,
it for
you
hours.
saw some interesting. Actually, we're
and
gonna go
tested
through
the
this. This is just too much fun.
like I never
He
did
does all
before.
sorts of things.
If you don't know my channel, I'm
Let's
a
go to
French
scratch
comic
test,
artist
which is
who
at
used
340.
ready to sacrifice a little corner
So let's
of the
let
surface, and I was ready to sacrifice a little.
me go a little bit here.
It's
Okay,
a taste.
look at this gear he's
I
got.
decided to test the hardness
He's got
of
car
the
keys,
overlay surface,
and-
I was ready to sacrifice
and you're seeing
a little
something
corner
there,
of my device.
But it looks like, he wiped it away with a piece of cloth or his finger. Sometimes with these pen displays, you can sort of get something like a scratch, but it's really like, it may just be disturbing oils or something on the screen. It's not really a scratch, which is why it went away. Or it may have left something from the, whatever you scratched it with, tried to
But
scratch it
this
with.
was a success.
Okay,
because each
another
time
thing
I
which is metal.
successfully
No
scratched,
scratch.
or I thought I was scratching the
Okay,
device,
his watch. He tries
I
to
could
scratch it with
just
his
remove
watch.
it with,
Again, little marks
piece of
there, but
fabrics,
look at this.
showing that the
Not really a
the overlay
scratch, right?
surface was
Okay,
stronger
now some
than
other thing,
the metal
and a
that I
knife.
used. So it's a sign of high durability.
Again,
and I really like that.
So don't get me wrong, again, people do scratch their devices. There's no doubt about that. But I still think you should take, because there's no doubt about that, even though you can see he's doing these really incredible tests on the device, you should take care of your screens, okay? Take care of your screens. Okay, let's get back to, let me just get some comments while we're at it.
The case of the
1
unit
minute.
is very thin.
Let me rearrange a
and
few
It's made of
things
aluminum
here.
or an alloy of aluminum. So
Okay, we'll
it's-
stop David Revoy. And let's just see, we got a few comments here. That was, let's get, Simon says, I'm the only active mod on the R Stylus subreddit. If you, are you, Simon, are you Digitizer Stylus? Is that who it is? If you want, you can accept the invite to become mod. You are very knowledgeable. When you say, oh, that is so nice. Thank you. I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. But let me know, are you Digitizer Stylus? Because I've interacted with you so many times. And in either case, I want to make sure you, let me copy that link address again. Simon, you may want to join our Discord. Okay, because I'm just putting the link in right here. Because that really is a place where we spend a lot of time talking about tablets pretty deeply. And there's some people there I think that you would absolutely love to start engaging with. Cube, K-U-U-U-B-E, Cube. He is, oh, no, I am Double Owl. Digitizer Style left. He left today. Oh, that's interesting. In any case, please join if you want. I think it'd be if you like styluses and things, it's I know obviously we're focused more on EMR than anything else. Let's see. But yeah, I'll accept the invite. Thank you so much. Let's see what Flame says. I think they mean if the surface gets too scratched, you can tape something over it since the digits. Oh, yes, I get it. Yes. If you scratch up, that's a great, so I'm glad you brought this up. If you do scratch up your pen tablet, it is fixable to some degree. I will add that as a note to it when I'll record this as a real video, but I'll add that as a note. So thank you for bringing it up. Yeah, and here's Mihaw's. Yeah, that's right. So thanks for clarifying, Mihao. Ink Blaster, is there a way for Huion 19 Canvas Pro to work with one USB-C cable? There is. Obviously, you need a USB-C cable, like a Thunderbolt 3 cable or Thunderbolt 4 cable that can handle enough power. So I always generally use Thunderbolt cables. Now, Huion's cable has a slightly longer metal piece, so it stays in better than a normal Thunderbolt 3 cable. So let's just say you're using Huion special cable. The problem is most ports on computers just don't provide enough power. I have tried with at least 5 different computers. All of them can send a display signal and data to the Huion Canvas Pro 19, but none of them send enough power. Okay. There was one, I think somebody on the Discord was able to do it or found someone who could do it. I also encountered someone on the drawing tablet or subreddit or the Huion subreddit. He made it work, but he had to add a special Thunderbolt card to his computer. And that's the only way it could work to provide enough power. So that's the limiting issue. And so can you use it with one single USB-C cable? Yes. I think the reason Huion does not advertise this fact is most people it would never work because most people's computers and cards don't provide enough power for it. So that's the problem. Let's see. Cami Luna. Good to see you, Cami Luna. Is this a 7pen stream or a Brad Kolba stream? What you're seeing on the screen, that was I'll let it play for a second because you should see what we were actually looking at. One moment. We were looking at David Ravoy, who's pretty famous in the Krita world. He was trying to scratch up the Canvas Pro 19. And I just wanted people to see this because it's outrageous. I've never seen anyone so dedicated trying to scratch up a display. He makes little marks, which are, I think, due to just stuff rubbing off the metal or oil or something, and he just wipes them away so that he couldn't scratch the screen. Now, I'm too scared to do this test. I've never seen anyone do it, but I might start when I do a review trying to scratch the tablet. Now, my problem is this. Some people really do scratch their tablet, and sometimes I cannot figure out how they did it. Literally, not a week or two ago, someone on the Huion subreddit, they got the Canvas Pro 19, and then I think like the next day they don't know how they did it. They had a huge horizontal scratch that they could feel, right, on their tablet. And it's like, what a nightmare scenario. So it does happen. It does happen. I don't know how it happens because, it's not supposed to, because these things are supposed to be very hard. Oops, I'm not even looking at the right thing. Was I playing that for you, Camilina? I don't think I was. Oh, shoot. Let me see if I can get back there. I just want you to see it because it's so...
You can use it as a pen
Sorry, I'll get
holder.
back here. I did not show it correctly. I'll just let this play for a second, just so we catch it back up. So yeah, he's just trying to scratch this thing with so many pieces of metal.
But the test was
it's kind of wild.
Each time
and while I let that play for a second, let me get to my next question or a comment. Nick Tyler, so when new Intuos Pro will be officially revealed? I heard you ordered, but when was he in their hands? Okay, so when did I order? I ordered it was last Friday or something. And then on Tuesday morning, I got an email that says, "Hey, those things were improperly listed as being on sale." So they canceled the order. And they said, I believe they gave a date of it'll be back on the store on March the 25th. And so I'll check back then at that time. That was the official date they gave me, and other people got the same email. And then we'll see, how long it'll take to ship. So it looks like we're 1 month out before they are actually available for sale.
The plug, the 2 USB to connect the device, and a jack.
Okay, Camille, you saw all the scratching this guy did? It's kind of amazing nothing actually broke there, isn't it? Or nothing scratched. Let's see. NYC Sim. Okay, yep. This was Simon saying, digitize your stylus left. I'm shocked. Actually, I'm shocked digitize your stylus left. For those of you who don't know, there's a subreddit called r/stylus. And, unlike drawing tablet, there's some overlap, because we have styluses also. But stylus is also focused on things that I don't cover. Like, for example, styluses that are used in, I don't really cover the Apple Pencil. I sort of talk about it because it's used like a drawing tablet. But there's all sorts of 2-in-1 PCs that have styluses and phones, and they're not EMR pens, so I don't know anything about them, and I don't use those devices. But if you're interested in that, about using a stylus, just in general, that's a great subreddit for you to explore. And Digitize Your Stylus was super active there. And Cami Luna says, I was able to power my XP Pen Pro 16. Was that the Gen 2, Cami Luna, I think? By USB-C cable alone on my laptop. But if I turn the brightness over 80, wow. Okay, that's actually something interesting. I had sort of suspected that might happen, but I've never experienced it before. So I will note that in my, I have a web page on power requirements. I'll note that in my page. Let's see what Nick says. Those are cool tests, but in real life, 90% of the damage is caused by transportation. Something touches the screen, it gets scratched, even though you can't do it intentionally with a knife. Yeah, Nick, I agree with you. It does happen when people are transporting things. It's just like people seem to do it and they don't know what caused it, right? Like I think it could be, a zipper on their jacket or something they're carrying. I've done that. My Move Ink, but by the way, the Move Ink does not have I don't think it's etched glass. It's something else because I'm very careful with my pen displays. I put something on it and it left a tiny little scratch on it, and it's a permanent scratch. I don't notice it when I'm drawing, but it happens. And, I think it's something I placed on top of it as I was moving around, right? Cami Luna says, I love the Discord server. I've been a tablet and pen display user since the mid-2000s and learned more about them in the first hour on that server in the entire 20 years I've owned these things. It's going to surprise you, Cami Luna. I'm actually the same way. I started using a tablet in 1995. Okay, it's a Wacom tablet. That means I've used a Wacom now for 30 years, or tablets in general for 30 years. And I thought I knew a lot. When I started this channel in when was it? 2002, in January 2002 was my first video. I thought I knew a lot. I considered myself very well versed in tablets and experience, and I was in a sense. But then I met other people on Discord. Specifically, I'm talking about people on Cube's server, and that's really people who play Osu a lot, which is a circle clicking game. And what I realized is I didn't know anything. And just like you, in my first few days or day on that server, the Cube server, which is very, very technical set of people there, I was blown away by the depth of their understanding. So I've learned from them. And that's why the reason I wanted to make these videos is try to bridge the gap between what let me put on. I'm showing you the screen instead of my face. It says face, but the wrong thing here. Okay. I wanted to bridge the gap between what I was learning there and creative people, right? Because I thought I was someone who could talk in both languages, so to speak. And if you think I know anything at all about tablets, it's just because of the people I hang around who've taught me something. Okay, that's the only reason I have any sort of knowledge here. And so I've learned a lot. And as I get more people on the Discord or on the subreddit who talk to me, I'm learning even more. And this is one reason I'm sometimes frustrated by drawing tablet reviews, because they tend, some of them tend to be I use it and it feels good. Okay, and that's great. We need experience, people to talk about the experience. But one of the inspirations for my channel also was I was buying a car a couple of years ago, and I would see these guys, Alex on Autos, as a great example, and he would go and measure things like, how loud it was inside the car, and write down the measurement and compare them to other cars. And I thought, wow, we need to start looking at the tablets in a more structured way and measure things. That's why I spend so much time measuring diagonal wobble or measuring pressure curves. I wanted to inject a little bit of that rigor into it. Hopefully I've had a little bit of influence, right? But yeah, I've learned a lot only because I had a lot of people I learned from in the Discord, actually. My Cintiq companion got dented in my old job when yeah, classic. Styluses for Nintendo Switch. I don't even have a Nintendo Switch. I'm wondering, do they have styluses for that? Let's see. I'm just going through the comments here. Yeah, I think you're talking about my 30 years. Absolutely. Actually, you want to see my first tablet ever? Because I was telling you the truth that I had my first tablet in 1995, but that's actually not the full truth. Because it turns out, in 1995, I was 24 years old, okay? Which means I was a 70s and 80s kid. So let me show you the very first tablet I actually have. This is going to be, let me bring it up on this other computer, and then I'm going to show you how ridiculous it is. It's got the craziest name, too. I mean, it's a good name. I wish... I'll just bring up the Wikipedia article. Now, you're going to laugh, okay? You're actually... You all will laugh to see this. Yeah. It was called the Koala Pad. Okay? And it had these two big massive buttons, and the resolution of this is like 6x8, by the way. Okay, I mean that's the total device. This area is smaller, 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Can you believe that? Okay, let's. I'm going to try to find the specs here. I believe the resolution. Okay, you know how you're used to 5280 lines per inch in a drawing tablet today? All of them say that. This had a total resolution of, I think, 256 by 256. Not per inch. The entire resolution of the device. And the pen, I believe it had a cord. It wasn't a wireless pen either. And it supported touch, believe it or not. And this was the painting program. Let's see if I can bring this up here a little bit. Can I zoom this in? I painted with this. I hated it, but this is actually, I painted a little bit with this. I was probably a teenager when this happened. This was when let's take a look. Yeah, this is 1983, so this would have put me at like 12 or 13 when I got this. And I didn't have another tablet until 1995. I did paint with something called, I'll look it up here just to show you. Some of you know this. This thing is called Deluxe Paint. I painted with a mouse on this, stuff like this for like a decade, okay? On my Commodore Amiga, okay? And look at this. Actually, this was considered amazingly beautiful for the time, and let me tell you. Well, this is how Deluxe Paint worked. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the history of 7 Pens on using these kind of devices. Okay, let's see. Let's just take a look at comments. We'll get back to the core presentation. Koyo has a really interesting comment. Metallic dust can be harder than level 6. I think you're talking about the hardness scale, right? Scratching glass surface. This is the main cause. Interesting. And Koyo, this metallic dust is coming from what? you're talking about like he's cutting with a knife, or just metallic just in general from environmental things that you might be in contact with. Let's see, Nick, since you have the Move Ink, it comes with Pro Pen 3, but supports almost all legacy pens it does. Did you try comparing the new Pro Pen 3 face-to-face with V2 on it? Can you... It's a question I get. Look, some people will tell you the Pro Pen 3 feels amazingly different. I don't. Listen, the truth is I have picked up the Pro Pen 2 many times and thought it was a Pro Pen 3 because I wasn't looking. The Pro Pen 3 has a slightly more, maybe its nib retraction doesn't go, it doesn't go back as deep as the Pro Pen 2. In either case, I didn't notice. If there is a difference, for me, I felt it was indescribably small. Or, I wouldn't be able to, if you blindfolded me and selected a pen and then had me draw without looking at the pen somehow, I think I would do no better than chance, meaning 50% of the time I'd be wrong in identifying the pen, right? So I can't tell the difference, but some people swear there is a difference. Milady says, did you speak about the fact that some people don't manage to adapt to pen tablets? I am going to, Milady. Everyone liked that koala pad, huh? Oh, yeah, I'm a little bit older compared to some of you, but yeah, it was a wild time, folks. Look at these comments. I love it. Koyo says, I should do reviews about some of these ancient tablets. It would be fun. Actually, I do want to. I have one planned for the koala pad. And I actually want to do something on a device. Okay, I tell you what. I'll tell you about it, and then maybe we'll even talk about it in the stream. I want to do something about a device. Hell, you know what? I think I will do it on the stream. There's a device called... I got to remember my head what it's called, actually. I'll figure it out. But there was a device made back in the 80s which cost a lot of money in the 80s. And it was used to create graphics. You could paint with it. Now, no normal person had it. But I'll find it maybe in this video stream and show it to you. You will be stunned at what people actually had access to, but not a normal person, like none of us. You'd have to be in like network TV to have access to it. And some of you know what I'm talking about. And actually, let me just say this. Many of you do not know this. I know many of you have maybe not the best feelings toward Adobe, but Adobe actually saved us for a very bad fate because they had a protracted legal battle with this company that made this device. And if they hadn't done that, we'd be living in a very different world, okay? So I will actually talk about that in the stream because it's so much fun to stream. Let's see. Simon says, metallic dusts. I worked in a metal shop for a while. Scratch this. Interesting. Okay, I got to find out more about this metallic dust and how it gets there. Metallic dust can be from anywhere. It can stick to things and travel around. So I guess this means we should be cleaning our pen displays and I guess pen tablets regularly to avoid metallic dust. Nick says, there's no noticeable event for you in Pro Pen 3. Better lines, pressure, initial activation. I measured one of my like three or four Pro Pen 3s. Pressure wasn't any better than my Pro Pen 2. I haven't measured the other three. I don't expect them to be better. I don't expect them to be better because there's no need for them to be better. They already have a really low IF. And they already have a really high max pressure. So there's no reason to improve them in that regard. Okay. Let me get back to my normal presentation, and then because we have so much to talk about. This is what always happens during my streams. We just explore random topics, which I love. Let's see, where were we at? We were at, I think we were at reliability, then ruggedness. Yeah, okay, now we're at this. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled programming. So another big difference between pen tablets and pen displays for me is cabling and connectivity. So, all pen tablets connect with the wire. All of them, they can all connect with the wire. And these days, it's almost always a USB-C port on the pen tablet, and the cable can be, just goes to any port on the computer that fits. And here's another thing about a pen tablet. You can use any USB-C cable as long as it carries data. Anything. I'd never even use, when you see me do my reviews of pen tablets and pen displays. With pen tablets, I never use the cable that they give me. I always use my own cable because I like my cable better because it's blue and it's easier for me to see. And the only it's a normal USB 2.0 cable. It's not some fancy, expensive USB 3.0 cable or something. It's just blue so I can see it. And it's just got, all it does is carries just a little bit of power and it carries data. That's enough. Okay. So that's a really nice thing for all pen tablets. And then some of them can connect via Bluetooth, right? So that's very simple situation with pen tablets. Pen displays, really complicated. You have to deal with, some of them have proprietary cables or cables that are thick at the end. So they only those cables fit a certain way into the slots, right? Because the slot won't accept the normal cable. And you can chop off some plastic to make other cables fit, but who wants to do that? 3-in-1 cables. Sometimes you need, this 3-in-1 cable. It's USB-C on one side, HDMI, power, and USB-A on the other side. And those can be proprietary. Yeah, they can't even mix and match those. And so not even sometimes you'll see that your computer doesn't have enough ports, USB-C ports or HDMI ports or USB-A ports. And of course, all pen displays, none of them work wirelessly, right? Even if they could, nothing's delivering, they don't have batteries. So you have to deliver power to them somehow. So it's just not your real choice for wireless is to just get a pen computer or a iPad type device and use that, because a pen display just can't do that for you. Okay. Portability, we talked about this a little bit in the reliability section as well. They're just, because they're so rugged and things, pen tablets are easy to work with, portable. They don't draw much power either. So your laptop is not going to be drained pretty fast from it. What a pen display has a lot of issues being portable because they're heavier. They tend to be thicker. The only portable pen display really, honestly, is like this Moving 13, which is super light and super thin. Then you have some, 13-inch pen displays are somewhat more portable, but they're still big and you have to protect them. And they require power, a lot of power from your laptop. So you're either going to drain your battery or you have to find extra power somehow, like you have to be plugged into the wall. Posture, well, I think we saw someone on the stream who said that pen tablets work better for them. Pen displays work better for them. But the vast majority of people find that posture works better with the pen tablet because they sit up like this, as opposed to a pen tablet where you're kind of, leaning over a little bit. It used to be for me, now you can train yourself. For me, it used to be that it would be like 5 minutes of using a pen display before I would just stop. Like I couldn't deal with it. Over the years, I've gotten better, and now I can use one for an hour or two. But I don't like to keep on doing it for a long time. And so you have to find what works best for you. Here's a little diagram I made to help illustrate just what's going on here. One thing with the pen tablet is, of course, it's flat on the desk, and you see the eyes are straight. But with the pen display, first of all, you need some legs or a stand to keep it at an angle, because it's weird to use if it's flat on the desk, right? Okoyo has a little comment here. 13-inch pen display doesn't need that much power. Most of the modern USB-C can fully power it. I believe it can. I think the question is just like how, will it drain your battery more? And it will. Though, to be fair, I have not done the testing. That's fair. So I should try that one time and just see how fast it draws. Okay. So another thing is pointer lag. Now, pointer lag is it's how fast the cursor, the pointer, trails the physical tip of the pen. Now, in my testing, which could be flawed, I made a video on pointer lag, and I showed some examples. Actually, you know what? Let me bring up the video because it'll be easier for you to see. Okay, I want you to see it. Let's go to 7 pens here. And pens. And where was this thing? This was pointers. I actually did not complete my series, but this was a year ago I started. And
welcome to part
you
one
can't
of
hear
the
me.
video series on drawing tablet lag.
You can't hear me,
Lag
I think,
plays
on this, but I'm going to turn on the volume. And just to illustrate what I'm talking about, it's the pen is here. The computer thinks the pen is here because there's some lag just in the fundamentals of the system. And so it's going to draw the mouse or hand cursor there. That's the lag I'm talking about. There's another kind of lag, which is where if you're drawing with an artistic program, where the brush stroke will be. So there's another kind of lag that is the brush lag, where your stroke is actually starting. Now, these are two independent kinds of lag. Pointer lag is due to the system and the tablet firmware and the tablet driver. Brush lag is due to how fast your computer is and if you're using what software you're using, etc., and which brush you're using. Okay, just want to clarify that. And what we're really going to get to here is I did a bunch of videos where you can see this lag. Now, this is the XP Pen Artist 13 Gen 2. This is about normal. I have used, I have a lot of tablets. I think I have somewhere between 27 or 30 pen displays now, okay? They all are like this. Even the top of the line Wacom ones are like this. Now, the Wacom ones seem to have a little bit less. Now, the key thing about this pointer lag is it gets the lag. You can just see the lag is worse the faster I go, as opposed to slower. And this is my experience. It's very hard to measure this. That's why I took a video. I believe Wacom has less pointer lag in general than other manufacturers, but the difference is slight. It's not a big deal. And I think if you're switching between a lot of tablets, you probably wouldn't even notice, right? And you have to be drawing pretty fast to notice that amount of lag. This is the Cintiq Pro 27. Again, slow. You don't see much lag behind it, and then fast. You're starting to see it. Again, I think the Cintiq Pro has less than many. Now, the iPad has the least that I've seen. This is with Procreate. There are many theories about why the iPad displays so little lag. Part of it is, I think, prediction. And here's a little slide I had, which is comparing the different kinds of pointer lag I saw, right? Now, the reason this is important is, let me go back for a second. With a pen display, you can see where the tip of the pen is because you have eyes, and you can see where the pointer is because you have eyes. And so you can see any discrepancy, right? It's obvious. Now, with a pen tablet, you can't see anything. You just see, of course, the pen tip. So how do you figure out if there's any pointer lag? Well, there's a way. This is my experiment. Let me show it to you. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know how to draw well. Here's what I did. I got my Intuos Pro Large. I put a webcam over it. And there's no screen here. I'm just showing you and I'll explain what looks like a screen here. But this is what I'm drawing. What I do here is I put a piece of white paper, which is like taped down, and I film myself drawing on the white paper. Obviously, you can't see anything because it's an EMR pen. It's not like an ink pen. But you can see what I'm drawing on the screen, okay? So I've got essentially two videos. I'm recording the screen with Camtasia, screen recording software, and I'm recording what the webcam sees, which is my physical hand drawing on the tablet, piece of paper in between, okay? Now let's go over here. You saw all that lag with the pen tablets, right? Okay. Sorry, let's find, okay. Watch what happens when I actually do it. And when I combine the videos, I time synchronize them, okay? Now watch. It's a little janky. Now what do you notice? I'm drawing where the tip of the pen is. Okay? Now watch what happens when I move fast. Did you see that? Like it really stuck to it pretty well. Now maybe I did the test wrong. Who knows? But as far as I can figure out, pen tablets really do have less pointer lag than a pen display. On top of it, if there is any pointer lag, now again, I was testing in 2.0 Pro Large. I wasn't testing, the other like 50 pen tablets I have. And certainly I think Huion and XP Pen have a little more lag than a Wacom in 2.0 Pro. But my point is, even if there was any lag, because you have no visual comparison, it's hard to detect it. It's very obvious with a pen display. So hopefully that made some sense. Okay, let's get back to our presentation. So I call pen display, it has a moderate bit of lag, but it's very obvious that there's any lag. Okay, natural drawing experience really has to deal with the disconnect between hands and eyes. Okay, now the key thing, the real winner here is pen displays, right? Because there's no disconnect whatsoever. Everyone knows exactly what to do. You just start drawing on the screen. Jerry has a question on pointer lag moving. You know what, Jerry? We're gonna show you. I wasn't planning on this, but I will show it to you because later in this video, I actually will be using the moving to demonstrate something. So you'll see it live in the screen. Now, keep in mind, I don't know there's a frame rate issue. Like, this camera, I think the video is coming in at 30 frames per second on the camera I'm using as the overhead camera. So you have to keep that in mind, okay? It may be causing more lag than, visually in what you see in the screen than what my eyes actually see. And let's see. Paul has a question here, or comment. I remember how frustrated I was when I first used my Wacom Bamboo. After picking up again in conjunction with the keyboard shortcuts, it became more natural. I now use my 2.0 Pro Toolbox. Yeah. I'm a huge believer in the Toolbox. I love that thing. It's my favorite. I have customized the heck out of that thing, and for Clip Studio Paint, and I couldn't draw without it. Okay, and just to illustrate this topic, this is again the same general illustration, but the key thing is that with the pen tablet, there's a disconnect with eyes and hand, but they're integrated with the pen display, and I think most people feel like it's natural. Now, someone asked earlier about, people getting adapted to it. This is my best guess, okay? Like if I had to take a guess, and it could be wrong, this isn't scientific despite the fact, I've drawn a pie chart. Maybe the proportions are wrong, but I think it's something like this. I would say 90% of people, this is the blue area, they just adjust immediately, right? The disconnect doesn't bother them. For example, how many of you are bothered by the disconnect between your eyes and your hand using a mouse, right? So we're used to it, right? Admittedly, it does feel different with the pen tablet. But most people just adapt to it in a second, okay? Now, I think 5% of people are in the purple. Like it takes them a day or maybe a couple of weeks, okay? And then there's another 5%, which is never adjust. Now, maybe those numbers aren't 5%. Maybe it's like each is like 10%. I don't know. But I think most people can't adapt to a pen tablet, okay? And you have to remember, pen tablets is all we had for decades. We didn't have pen displays. So, I'm highly confident humans can deal with pen tablets. And I'll talk about something that causes them to have problems adjusting. We'll get that in the stream. So another consequence of this integration is getting the strokes right the first time. With a pen tablet, even there's a kind of uncertainty about where the stroke is going because you don't see, there's a disconnect between eyes and your hand. So people tend to say, I believe this, that they draw correctly the first time more often with a pen display than a pen tablet. Okay? In other words, people say they have to press undo more with a pen tablet. I believe that. I think I have to press undo twice as much with a pen tablet as with the pen display. Okay? That's how I would characterize it. So these are the real advantages of pen display. Natural experience, and you tend to make a more correct stroke. Okay? Now, another topic which I didn't cover in the December stream, but I'm covering here, is iPad compatibility, because this is important to know, because it comes up as a question a lot. And the question more broadly is, can you use a drawing tablet with an iPad? And the answer is, well, it depends. Pen tablets will work with an iPad if your app supports it. Now, IBIS Paint, I think it's IBIS Paint X, I guess. It does support using an pen tablet, but you have to connect via Bluetooth. I've never seen a case where you can just use
GPS signal lost.
Oh, geez, my stupid phone's telling me it's lost a GPS signal. Let me turn this. Sorry. Let me turn off the volume. What a ridiculous message to tell me. In the middle of a stream, GPS lost. What I was saying is, I've never found a case where you can connect with a cable. A iPad. I mean, you can physically connect them, of course, but it doesn't do anything. You have to connect via Bluetooth, and then your app has to support it. IBIS Paint does. I think one other iPad app does. I don't know which one that is. I'd have to test. But so it's possible in limited cases that it'll work. Pen displays, ultimately, they don't work with iPads. Like, you can plug them in, and if your iPad supports using an external display, then it'll work as an external display, but the pen part doesn't do anything, right? So if using, don't get me wrong, I really wish I could use my pen display with an iPad. I would love that, right? But it's not supported. It doesn't work, okay? You can use it like a monitor, but you can't use it like really a tablet. Now, repairability, I'm going to have to update this slide. I was going to say low or none for pen tablet, but actually, as someone pointed out earlier in the stream, if you scratch up your pen tablet, you can actually, in a sense, kind of repair it. In the Wacom case for the Intuos Pros, they have these texture sheets. They're a little expensive. But if you scratch up your Surface, you can just buy a new texture sheet and replace it. I've done that many times, actually. Now, if the buttons break, that's another problem. There's no repairing it if the digitizer breaks either. With a pen display, it scratches on the glass, unrepairable. Cracks in the glass, unrepairable. If the display panel breaks, maybe you can get it returned or get a new model with warranty, but there's no real repairing going on with a pen display. Yeah, sure, if you're someone who really knows electronics and how these devices work, maybe you could do something, but I don't see that tablet manufacturers repair their tablets. Let's see, Jerry has a comment. I find it funny how the nature of pen tablet forces me to visualize way more for the sketch. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. I think the tool you use will affect how you practice what you're going to be doing. And I want to say one more thing actually on this topic, which is, and I know this doesn't make sense for everyone, but if you have the means to have both, get both. Because I like sometimes sketching, like getting the arrangement and the composition straight and getting the rough sketch with the pen display, and then I refine it carefully with a pen tablet, right? So I get the best of both worlds. It's not an either or situation. Now, another thing someone asked me to talk about was, pen tablets you can't add a screen to a pen tablet, right? But you can go the other way. You can take a pen display and use it like a pen tablet. And there's actually several ways to do it. And this is a snapshot of one of the pages I wrote about it. The first is some pen displays actually have a mode where they call it tablet mode or something like that, which is a weird name since it is a tablet no matter what. But essentially, you can not power up the display part and it'll just work like a pen tablet. Another way of accomplishing that, I'll show it to you in a few minutes, is you can disconnect the video signal by disconnect the HDMI, or you can do it in software. You can tell your operating system, like Windows, to disconnect the display, so it won't bother sending a signal to the tablet. So it'll still be treated like a pen tablet. Okay. Now the one thing you have to watch out in this case, though, is I think there's still going to be a little more pointer lag with the pen display, and even if you turn off the screen, you're going to see that lag. Okay. So that may be the only way that's kind of a negative here. And of course, it is, it's kind of expensive. Sorry, what was I going to say? I don't think you should buy a pen display to use as a pen tablet, but in those cases where it's useful, sometimes it's nice. So, for example, no pen displays are large. I mean, when they say large, they're like 16 inches diagonal, but no pen displays are like 22 inches, right? So occasionally, I have actually taken a pen display, which is a 22-inch, and turned off the display part and just use it like a pen tablet, because I just wanted a large surface, right? Because I was used to drawing with the Intuos 4 XL, which is a very large pen tablet. Now, another thing to be aware about is when people say they have trouble. Actually, you know what? Before I continue, I need to take a quick bio break, so I'm gonna just pause for just 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll come back. Okay? So just give me a little patience, or have a little patience, please, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I am back. There we go. Okay, so I want to talk about matching aspect ratios, and basically, there's a mismatch between your pen tablet and your monitor. I'm sure 90% of you, maybe not on the stream, but 90% of you who use pen tablets, those who use pen tablets, are drawing in a way, or they don't know this, so they don't know any better. They're drawing in a way which is frustrating and feels weird. And that's why they don't want to use a pen tablet anymore, because it feels weird. And it's hard to convey that weirdness. And many people don't know what's happening. So I've said this many times. I'm totally open about this. This setting that feels weird is enabled by default. It's not something anyone knows to look for. Remember I told you I used a tablet for like 30 years? I think actually I didn't know about this setting for like 20 of them. Maybe I think it's actually longer than that. I don't think I knew this setting until actually a few years ago, like 5 years ago. Okay. Didn't know what it was. So that's very embarrassing for me. And if I can get over that embarrassment and change it, no one should feel embarrassed that they've been using this way for a couple of years, because no one knows. Okay. Now, before I get into this topic of matching aspect ratios, and I've got the moving here, let me just take a look at a few more comments here. Flame has one more, and I have some Discord comments I'll get to. I low-key feel like tablets in general come in too many sizes. Why do we need a 24 and 27 inch screen tablets? That seems like overkill. Yeah, it's a real mess right now. It used to be we just basically had 13, 16, 22. Oh, sorry, 24, then 27. And then we had a 32 for a while. Now we have a 17 and a 19 and 22s in the mix. And it's confusing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm really happy there are 22-inch pen displays. That's my favorite size. But Wacom Cintiq Pro 17, Canvas Pro 90. Where are these numbers coming from? I don't know how the business works, like why they pick the panels they do, but when I saw Canvas Pro 19, XP Pen Artist Pro 19 Gen 2, I'm like, what is going on here? Okay. I'm not complaining that they have sizes like this, but it does get confusing, right? Like sizes shouldn't be so close, because you have maybe 13 is okay with 16. That's a big jump. But when you get 13, 16, 17, 19, they're all just in the same space and, slight differences. So I think it gets confusing. Okay. Let me look at Discord and we'll take a look at some of the live stream chats here. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to bring it. Can I bring it up here? Maybe I can. Hang on. I have to figure out how to use my computer again. Okay. Let's get to the live stream chat. And let me bring it over. Okay. And now Edwards, and there's a 14. Oh, that's all we need now. I totally forgot about the 14, the Artist Pro 14 Gen 2. Thank you for reminding me, Eduardo. Did you ever discuss why you believe screenless tablets are here to stay for a long time? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that, Flame. Sorry, phone is spamming. There we go. Okay. So the questions are, there was one for me. Have you ever tried using a pen display? You only have one display, and that one is on pen display. Have you ever tried a pen display when you have one? I'm not. Let me see if I understand the question correctly. This is if I'm using only a pen display. I have. I used the Cintiq Pro that way for a while. The Cintiq Pro 27. I've used. I've used my Canvas Pro 19 as a display for a while, kind of in a temporary situation, but I did it that way. Same with the Canvas 22 Plus. Some people say when you have mixed displays, I haven't, with different refresh rates, you see something weird. I haven't never seen anything weird. Then again, I'm not the best person with the best eyes for detecting this. Okay. Okay, and let's go ahead and address Flame's question, which is, did I ever discuss screenless tablets and why they're here for a long time? And then I'll get to what I'm going to show you with the Move Ink. Okay. So the reason why pen tablets are going to be here are, now I'm literally just thinking reasons in my head right now. Okay. The first has to deal with cost, which is the cost of producing a pen display that could be used as a pen tablet is too much right now. We would have to have, really thin display technology. We have an OLED, right? But OLEDs are expensive. The Moving 13, its active area is bigger than a Wacom Intuos Pro, right? A medium. So it's actually got a really good size. Like it's a very nice size to draw with. And until they get the economics of having a display there, we're not going to be able to get rid of pen tablets, right? The second thing also is related to money, which is how much it costs them to make a drawing tablet that's a pen tablet and how much they charge for it. This is my understanding. And if anyone has any evidence that says, hey, I'm wrong, and I'm not married to this position, but this is what I believe to be true. I believe that pen tablets are high margin devices. High margin means it doesn't cost much to produce. It's very little money it takes to make a pen tablet. And so, I don't know what cost that is, but I think it's not much. Therefore, the price you charge for pen tablet is, I think it's pretty high profit. Okay? So, as a result of that, if you were a manufacturer, you would want to continue having this line out there, okay? Because it's a high profit margin for you, right? And there are many reasons why, even if you thought the pen screenless tablets were going away, you'd want to keep them around for a while because you're making a good amount of money, okay? If you shrunk in, let's suppose you magically, let's pick an expensive pen tablet for a second. A relatively expensive $200 Huion, the XP Pen Artist Pro. Not Artist. What is it called? Deco Pro Gen 2 XLW. It's about $200. It's a very large pen tablet. Imagine if it had a screen and it's still sold for $200. There would be very little profit on that. Very little. Okay, and they wouldn't make enough to justify it, right? So I don't think they're going to do it. Finally, to be quite honest, getting a pen display is incredibly cost prohibitive in certain areas. My audience is all over the world, and in some places, spending $200 on a tablet is an outrageous cost. And pen tablets are the only thing you have left, right? Okay, so there's three sort of cost-based reasons. Let me give you a few others that aren't exactly cost. I think there's scenarios where you would want to have a pen tablet because there's great risk of damage to the device. So think about scenarios where you are like an educational scenario. So you have a bunch of students, and students are not known for keeping delicate equipment safe. Okay, they're not known for keeping books safe. I think that you would want, if you're in a teaching scenario, it would be easier to deal with a bunch of pen tablets that could survive being used by kids and dropped on floors, etc., than pen displays. So there's a market for uses of pen. And I'm just giving you one example, right? And then finally, I think a lot of people just prefer pen tablets. I think there's an actual market. I don't know if the TAM, TAM means total addressable market. I don't know if the TAM of drawing tablets is more pen tablets or pen displays. I have a sneaking suspicion more people buy pen tablets than pen displays. So it's a larger it's a larger slice of the same pie. So, I just don't think they're going to go away. Now, the conditions to make it go away would require a display technology that's super cheap, super reliable, and would have to make economic sense for the tablet manufacturers to make, right? Like, if I'm going to bring up my MoveInk here, right? This thing costs $750, and don't get me wrong, I love this tablet, but if this tablet, there's one more practical thing, which is like the scratching, right? You have to protect this somehow, and how do you protect it? Because it's going to get scratched up if you use it like a pen tablet, I think, right? If this MoveInk, though, if there was a magical display technology that made the display panel cost $10, right? Or who knows? I have heard. Sorry, when I say I've heard, someone sent me. They told me about some research paper where you know how these tablets are made, right? There's a digitizer, and then there's the panel on top of it, right? The display panel. I have heard that they are working on I don't know who they is, right? Researchers, somebody, maybe it's Wacom, maybe it's Samsung, somebody, are working on a single layer, which means it's a LCD panel that also can act like a digitizer. So that's one combined thing. So it's thinner at very least. Maybe it'll be less expensive one day. Maybe it'll be more rugged. I don't know, right? But if you had a very cheap display technology that was very rugged, then yes, under that condition, I could see screenless tablets going away. But the cost has got to be way down. I have to be able to buy one of those at $100 US. If that's possible, yeah. Because I think if that was true, if every device at $100 also had a screen, then why would you ever buy a screenless tablet? You just wouldn't use the screen, which I'm going to show you in a second, by the way, with this tablet. So, Flame, I'm looking for any comments here. Did that help out? Let's see. We have another comment. Pen tablets setup is easier. It is. Yes, it is easier. It does take some experimentation with the pen display. That is a fantastic comment. You have to find the right angle, stand, etc. And I'm a fidgety. I'm one of those people that I'm very mercurial about my positioning here with a pen display. Flame, he says, I always thought computer displays like iPad could always lead to the end of screenless tablets. I think it's possible, right? But you'd have to get the cost down and the ruggedness up, right? Because, hey, I've only broken one display in my life, and it's an iPad. It's the newest one, actually. It fell off my bed, and there's 2 cracks now, which I'm very embarrassed about. Because I always prided myself on never cracking anything, a phone, etc. But there I did it to a $1,000 iPad. And Nick says, the advantage of software is obvious, but as for drawing experience, $10 notebook Prismacolor pencil beats even the best 5K USD Cintiq Pro working station. Yeah. Look, I am told, I'm not one of these people, but I am told by one of my Discord colleagues, and she regularly draws on paper and I think she takes a photograph and then cleans it up digitally. For her, drawing on paper is far superior to a tablet. And maybe there's some truth in that. Maybe that's the way, right? But the key thing is people have their different preferences. Okay, now I was going to show you two things, or several things. Now that I've got tablets in front of me, and let me just get some water. So we're going to play with three topics. The first is someone asked for pointer lag in the MoveInk. And then I'm going to show how to use a pen display as a pen tablet. And then I'm going to show how to that weird mismatched aspect ratios thing, okay? Mihao says, I like mixing traditional and digital. It makes stuff exciting. I agree. Hey, look, traditional still can do things digital can't do, or at least when digital does them, it does them in a very digitally way. And you know what my example is? Watercolor. The best watercolor I've seen, which is Rebel, which is amazing watercolor, by the way. I'd advise you to check it out. By the way, I just want to talk about Rebel for a second. Its watercolor will blow your mind. And I think it costs $150 for Rebel Pro. But around the holiday time, they had a 90% discount. So people were able to buy the Pro version of Rebel 7 for $15. So even if you don't plan on using Rebel, and who knows, maybe they'll never do this again, but check in this upcoming holiday season, and I'll tweet out about it if they do. Check if they're doing that discount. Because at $15, it's a why not purchase, right? You don't have to, it's not a why purchase. It's just, well, why don't I buy it? And just play with it. Anyway, it's got the best watercolor, but if you ever used real watercolors, it's not the same, right? And Nick says, I see many artists on Deviant and ArtStation drawing amazing stuff with traditional pencils and digitized with. Yeah, it's a real thing. Even I've done it. Even I have, and not even drawings. Like sometimes I have sketched on a piece of paper, a diagram that I want to use at work. And then I have just cleaned it up in Visio or something once I scanned it in, right? And G Art says, yeah, no brush is ever as good as traditional water. That's unbelievable what watercolor can do. I mean, maybe, with a pencil or pen, it's different. But watercolor is amazing in the richness and subtlety and pattern. And I'm not a watercolorist, but even I, just as, lack of artistic knowledge that I have, even I can tell there's something special about its dynamics and behavior, okay? Only shame is that you need to have expensive paper and good paints. Yeah. I'm gonna once again in a few years I'll try watercolor just to get myself to learn it for real, as opposed to when I was doing it in school, just messing around. Okay. Test number 1 was someone asked about MoveInk and pen lag, pointer lag. So I got to, okay, let me pause for a second. I got to get a pen first. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I may have to install the Wacom driver, so give me a second. No, it's installed. Okay, great. So, I have to clear away space, so give me a moment. I think I'll move this over here. It's my keyboard. Again, I'm streaming on 2 different computers. One's the streaming computer, and there's a separate demo computer. So it takes a little moment for me to rearrange my brain because I have 2 keyboards and 2 mice. Okay, now what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get the MoveInk and get pen lag. Okay, so let me a good comment on Rebel is great, but still very complicated to me. Just not like real water. Yeah, it's the closest I've ever seen, though. Let's see. Let me get no. What I want overhead, I believe. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I may need to disconnect this momentarily. Or let's try it again. Ever since the power went out, it caused a kind of, yeah, I'm going to have to disconnect. So let me fix this issue, and I'll be right back. Okay, can everyone see what I see? And let me move my Discord out of the way. Okay, volume is good. Okay, now what we'll do is just arrange a few things here so that it's a little more obvious what's going on. You can see how complicated my setup is here. Okay, and if I zoom in a little bit, okay, great. Now, I've got 2 tablets here. Both are going to be used in my demo. But this is the Move Ink. And now I have to find a cable. That's a power cable. I need a different cable. Okay, I have found a cable. This is a Thunderbolt 3 cable by Cable Matters. That's where I get all my Thunderbolt cables, Cable Matters. It's not necessarily an endorsement. It's just, I found one of their cables works for me, and since then, that's all I've been using. I like to stay consistent if I can. And I'm going to plug this into my Surface Pro 8. And it says Wacom on it, like it should. USB right. It's getting no signal. So I have to figure out why that is. Why is it getting no signal? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to try something. I think I know what the reason is. Let's see if this triggers it. Okay, great. So you see the screen. Let me go and that sucks. Okay, so I lost my mouse because I disconnected it from something. And I'm just going to change the display. Is it Windows D? Get this desktop. I'm just trying to extend versus duplicate from my Surface. Heat changes, right? This is number 2. And just to make it easier for you, because I know it's just a black screen, I'm going to change the background a little bit to make it oops, not there. I'll make it blue. It'll be a little bit easier to see. Okay. And then let us zoom in a little bit. And let's just see if the pen is correctly working. The pen is, though there is a problem. Can anyone see what it is? Maybe not. It's okay though. It doesn't affect, I'll tell you what it is. So let me zoom in. It'll be a little easier for you to see. Does anyone notice the shape of the cursor? It's not the mouse pointer, right? And when that happens, what that means is Wacom driver is not being used. For some reason, Windows plug-and-play tablet drivers are used. Now, but it's okay because I didn't need to draw. I just needed to do this. And ignore the rectangle. That's because I'm pressing down. I will tell you right now, and I don't know how to explain this, whoever asked for this, but I have to tell you, I think this is, with this driver, the Windows plug-and-play tablet driver, there is some lag, some pointer lag. You can see it. Actually, it's probably easier if I do it like this. There's not much. I'm moving relatively fast, and you can see where the pointer is. I know it's a bit blurry. That's because it's a 30 frames per second filming me. This has very good pointer lag, and I have to be quite honest. I'm not sure why. It's less than I would get on my Cintiq Pro 22 or 27, I believe. This is one of the best I've seen. Not as good as an iPad, but maybe the iPad is doing position prediction and some other algorithms. So it's very good. It's very good. Yeah. I'd have to try to do something to really have a lot of lag. So I think it's excellent. This is the Pro Pen 2, by the way. Okay, so that was the first thing. The second thing I wanted to show was this topic about how do you use one of these as if it's a pen, what do you call it? A pen tablet, okay? Now, the Move Ink, as far as I know, does not have a pen tablet mode, okay? Like there's no, with some tablets, you can like press the power button and it'll turn off the screen, but it'll keep the tablet working, like a pen tablet, right? But the Move Ink does not have that. And is touch on? I want to turn off the touch for a second. Okay. The Move Ink does not have that. So I need to find a way of doing it. And the way I would do it is, let's see if I can, of course, the mouse doesn't work, right? I'm going to have to use my display settings. Okay. Display settings, and then I'm going to, okay, let me click identify. And so you can see there, you can't see what I'm doing here. This is what display setting looks like. There are two things attached. This is my Surface Pro display. This is the Move Ink. I click identify 2, so we're in the right place. Now, how do I use it like a pen tablet? I have this selected, so number 2 is blue. Then I say, show only on 1. Now what happens? This is giving me the message on the Move Ink that, and I have to keep the changes, okay? It's saying no signal, right? So it's like, hey, where's my signal? Something's not working, okay? And it'll go away, and yeah, right? And it's even now here's the catch. It's going to power savings mode. So that turned off the display. Now the question is, will it work like a pen tablet? And it should actually. It does. It does. You can't see it, but so I'll show it to you. Oops. Now watch this. See? It does in fact work like a pen tablet. Okay, and lots of pen displays are like this. If they don't have direct support, you can always just go into the equivalent of display settings and tell the operating system to, hey, stop using it like a monitor. It'll go to sleep. It'll keep the pen tablet working. Now, I can't I can't guarantee you every pen display does this, but it does work in many cases that I've tried, right? So that's how that works. And then the final thing I want to show you is, now I'm going to have to disconnect this because I need to use a different, because this topic of this video is pen tablets versus pen displays. I'm going to disconnect the Move Ink, and let me give you back some screen here. And keep it somewhere. And let me get a drink of water. And now I have the PTH 660, the Wacom Intuos Pro 2017 Medium. This is my standard tablet I recommend for people. You know, I'm not sure this is quite bright enough. I may have to add an extra light, but maybe I'll do that right now. Hang on. Should help a little bit. Yeah, okay. Should help a little bit, right? Since it's black, it's kind of hard to see anything on this thing. Okay, so, and this is another thing. You can use any USB-C cable that carries data. Now, this is a Thunderbolt cable, which is USB-C. Now, I use it with my MoveInk, but of course, it will work with this too, because it's doing way more than is needed. Okay, now the thing is, I need to make sure the Wacom driver is installed, because that's where my problem was last time. The tablet driver is not responding. I may need to reboot. Okay, so I'm going to reboot. Now, good thing is, this is why I have two computers set up. I can reboot this without you being bothered by it. So just give me a second, and I'll show you. I'm going to show you my matching aspect ratios problem, which is once you see it. Actually, and let me go get. I need a piece of plastic to do this test correctly. So I'll be right back as it's rebooting. Okay, quite the hunt for a piece of plastic. I needed this because it's circular, and I need something small enough for this to work. Okay. So just give me a second. I have to just make sure the Wacom driver is installed. And it is now. So skip this. Yep, it detects my tablet. Okay. So that's why you didn't see the pointer. I actually installed the driver, but I didn't reboot. And that's why you didn't see the full pointer. But now you'll see it correctly. Okay. So this is, I'm covering that aspect ratio mismatch, which is a problem. And the easiest way for me to show you this to you is to draw. And don't worry, we're going to see it in just a minute. Let me just bring up Krita. And I just need to create a new drawing. Let me go ahead and create a 4K drawing. 3040 by 2160. Okay, create. Okay. And let's see. Let's give you my overhead view again. Overhead. There we go. Okay. Now you got to bear with me because this can get a little complicated to deal with. I just want to make sure I got everything correct here. Okay. I may need to undo this keyboard here to make it a bit easier for myself. And I'm going to plug in this cable, which is to my, what do you call it? My dock, my Thunderbolt dock. This will provide some power as well as give me access to a keyboard and mouse, which will be easier for me to do this demo with. Okay. Okay. And oh, silly me. There's a reason I didn't use it because when I plugged into the dock, I lost. Okay, no worries, no worries. I just got to plug this in correctly, and we'll get everything set up. Sorry for the delay; it just takes a little extra. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I can do it better for you. I think I can do it much better for you. Yeah. I think I found the solution. Okay. I don't need to show you this, as it turns out. I only need to show you this tablet, and I need to use a screen. So if you give me a second, I will do that. Overhead plus demo screen. Okay, almost. So you see my hands here, my face below, and you see what the screen of the other tablet, okay, or the surface, okay. So I am now going to just make sure I show you. Yeah, everything's correct. Everything's correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch Krita on this other machine. Krita. Or I have it launched already, I believe. Didn't I? Okay. Sorry, Krita's getting a little messed up there. It's actually on the other screen. That's why it's getting confused. Sorry. Just going to make sure the resolutions are set up correctly. 2560, keep changes. Get this underneath it. Apply. This has to get to the same resolution. And then we need to arrange these. Great. Okay. I'm in the right place. Sorry for the delay it. As I unplug and plug things in, sometimes the displays get really confused. Okay, so I'll get a new file here. A 4K screen. Okay, so this is the situation that I am sure over 90% of people with pen tablets are having. Okay, and let me just make sure I am drawing correctly. Okay, almost. My pen tablet, you'll see, is not correctly mapped. If we go to Wacom tablet properties, if we take a look at the mapping, it's mapped to both displays. So the first thing you have to do is map them to one of them. So I think that's monitor 2 is what I want. Okay. Now there's a mapping, and it looks correct, right? You see my hand moving, and you see this moving, okay? Now, I'm going to pick a normal brush, which is something, I just need something that you can see. I'm trying to figure out how to get this brush thing out of the way. This is what sometimes irritates me about Krita, is the way it moves these windows. I'm going to move this brush window out of the way because it's really irritating. And I want to select a brush called, this should do it. And let's see if you can see it correctly. I may need to increase the size. Yeah, okay. You can see it? I'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So most people, a lot of people will be using a pen tablet, and they'll always tell me it feels wrong. Something's not working with it correctly. They don't know why. And you know what? Suddenly it stopped working, by the way. That's weird. Of course, it just stops working in the middle of a demo. Let's bring up Wacom tablet properties, see if anything else is going on here. Literally, it just stopped working. Did something happen here? Let me try unplugging it and plugging it back in. Could have been Krita also. No, it just literally. Oh, okay. So there we go. Had a little bit of a screw up, but it's back, I think, working normally. Yeah, okay. So here's the problem, which is going to be evident if I take this piece of plastic. This is actually like the, what do you call it? The cap for my screen cleaner. The only reason I have it is that it's small. I'm going to place it directly in the middle. But you can tell it's perfectly circular, right? Now, what am I going to do is I'm just going to trace, right, a perfect circle, a physically perfect circle. Now, I'm going to ask all of you, you can see it. Don't worry about the fact that the ends are a bit messy. That's not the issue. Can everyone agree that this is perfectly circular, but what you see on the screen is not? Right? Everyone agrees with that. And that's because the aspect ratio, this active area, is about 16 by 10. Not quite exactly. It's a little bit off. But this monitor, where you see Krita, is 16 by 9. And a lot of people, myself included, were drawing for 20 years like this. I would draw, and I always felt something was off. And lots of people tell me that. They say, oh, I get a pen tablet, and it just feels off to them. And no wonder it feels off to them, because everything is being kind of stretched. And it depends on which monitor you have and which tablet you have. So there's not like a consistent stretching. For example, the Intuos Pro Series, I said this is almost 16 by 10. The large has a different aspect ratio, and the small has a different one. So it depends on which one you have even plugged in, what's going on. But the good news is, with Wacom, they have a setting called Force Proportions, and with Huion and XP Pen and Sense Labs, they have an equivalent thing. It's called something different. I think it's called like screen ratio. But let me show you Wacom's. And you can see the effect it's going to have, right? If I go to mapping, you can see these. It might be a little bit hard. These red lines go to the top of the screen. Okay. Let me see if we can just zoom in a little bit because I want you to see this very clearly. I think this is a demo screen one. Yeah. Let me do a fuller version of this. Oops, wrong screen. There we go. Do you see the red lines there? They're mapping this to this. Now, how do you fix that? You fix that by just going into, just click force proportions. Let me unclick it again, just see what happens. Do you notice the red box right here shifts a little bit? It actually it's growing vertically smaller when I click, okay? Force proportions will force the active area here to map exactly the proportion here for your monitor. And now that I do it, now I'm gonna pick a different color because I want you to see the madness here. Okay, let me erase some of these things too. Okay, I'm gonna pick red, and I'm gonna put this somewhere. Hopefully, yeah. And I'm gonna just do the same thing I did before with force proportions. Now let's see what happens. Again, ignore the fact that I mess up sometimes because you'll see. There we go. Now, I think you would agree. I think you would absolutely say these two have, this is perfectly circular. Okay. So that's the magic of force proportions. Okay. Now, one more thing, which is I actually have two monitors. Okay. You can't see it. Actually, it's two monitors. One's up and they're stacked up and down. Okay. If I go back to Wacom tablet properties and if I click it, oops, clicked the wrong thing. I go back to mapping. You can see them. Now, some people will say, hey, I want to use my tablet with all my monitors. Okay, that's fair. So let's just set screen area to full. Now, if I do that, take a look at what the rectangle looks like here. It's like this region of the tablet, okay? And that's weird. Now, I've got half the tablet is missing because of this effect. So what the solution, now, normally I tell people just to map to one monitor, but if you do want to map to more, you have other options. What I like to do is map to one, and then in the pen, I'll go ahead and just show you. I changed what the button does. I changed this to, I think it's, oops, let me find it. Display toggle, right? Now you can't see it exactly, but I'll go ahead and try to show it to you. If I have a screen that, a view that shows you this. Demo screen 1 and 2. Okay. No, not quite right. Now, for me, they're stacked. Actually, I'll do the stacking for you, so it's more obvious what the heck is going on. For me, they're actually stacked physically like this. Okay, and I'll prove that to you as I move the mouse. See how the mouse moved, right? So now the tablet does the right thing. Where is it? Right. It actually, you can get confused when you move the monitors around, so that's another thing that happens. But you can always change the pen to display toggle. So it's actually using the correct thing right now. And if I click the top button, it switches to the other screen. So that's how I get it to work with both screens. Now it does screen 1, then it goes screen 2, and then that's screen 1 again. And then it does, I think one of these modes is both or something. But if you want to use both monitors and use force proportions, you can use display toggle. That's what I'm trying to say, right? But most of the time, I actually don't do that. I just use my drawing on one tablet with one monitor, okay? And let's see what we have for the questions here and the comments. Nick says, I guess if user can't pick one checkbox and driver to force correct, it's not a device problem. Well, it's fair, Nick. The thing is that no one knows it because let's be honest that, let me bring this up. I spend a lot of time at Microsoft on user interfaces, okay? And this is the default setting for Wacom. This has this off, okay? And it does, remember, this is the first thing you'll see when you open up the Wacom driver. And there's nowhere here that would lead anyone to think, hey, I really got to go to mapping. And even when you look at this, it doesn't really tell you the meaning of this. Like there should be a big, when you get to Wacom tablet properties, there should be a big yellow banner here or red that says, hey, you're drawing you've not configured it correctly. You need to do one more thing, right? Because this is just not selling the idea well. There should be some animated GIF here pointing and screaming, click force proportions. A normal person wouldn't figure this out. I didn't figure it out for 20 years, right? And just one day I got curious about it and I clicked it and I'm like, oh my God, this is like so much better. Let's see. G-Art. The first time I had to fiddle force proportions was when I got an ultra-wide monitor before I bought a display tablet. Yeah, that's a great situation, right? Ultra-wides, they'll really create a small, if you do force proportion, they'll create a small strip. Which is why when I get an ultra-wide, I like to divide it into two smaller monitors, right? They can have picture-in-picture sort of, or picture-by-picture, and then treat it like two separate displays. And then, use display toggle to figure it out. Okay, I think we covered a lot. I'm not seeing any, I'll check the Discord real quick. Oops, wrong keyboard, of course. Let's see, any, okay. I think we are good. I think we covered this topic pretty deeply. I want to thank everyone for the comments you had. This is really good. What I'm going to do is take what the content of this stream and redo, make this a real video actually, where I talk about all these topics. I'll incorporate the comments I got and the questions we had, because I think, and I'll probably even do another separate video just on this this force proportions thing, because it's not commonly known. But with that, I just want to thank everyone for your time. I'm going to do another stream next week, so if you have suggestions on what topics you'd like me to do, let me know. I've got a couple brewing, but this is something I definitely want to get done this week. I could do, even though I've had the Moving for a while, a live stream unboxing of the Moving, if anyone's interested in that. Because I think there are a lot of questions on the Moving. But in either case, I'm definitely going to do one more stream next week. Okay? So thanks, everyone, for your time. I really appreciate it. And, I just love this community. So I'll talk to you soon. And with that, have a great day.